My name is Mika, I'm a musician, and I play for a band called Days Delirium. My creative process tends to focus on things that are happening currently in the world and things that are happening with me and my band member in our personal lives. I want my music to make people feel understood and not alone in scenarios that you might feel like you are alone. The type of music I create doesn't really have a specific genre. We fluctuate between them because we were inspired by many different genres. Some of the venues that I'd like to play at would be Tease and Poet, Churchill, and Strange Beasts. I think Tease and Poet more because it's where all of the bands that I know that I'm friends with started, and that's a really good place to start. It's very nice. The first instrument I ever learned was actually this ukulele. I've had it since I was in middle school, and it started it all for me for music. I also do film on the side, and it helps a lot with the music because I'm able to do music videos for my band. I also work at Taco Bell part-time, which helps me get money to get equipment, new instruments, and overall it just helps our music. The story behind my band name, while we were in class writing that song, Cherry, we decided to call ourselves Dazed because we both smoked. And since we have so many different genres that we like, and we decided to add delirium, so that's why we're called Days Delirium. The people that inspire me to create music, mostly musicians. I would say Cave Town, since it's the first band and solo band that I ever started listening to, and 21 Pilots, because it's something that me and my band member share. So we get inspired by them since they have so many different genres as well. I'm not a big fan of reggaeton. If you listen to it, that's okay, but I'm definitely not a fan of that. Other than that, I'm good with everything. I like jazz, I like rock, I like pop, I like medieval music. I like everything. Just reggaeton is definitely not it for me. My band member, it's just me and my best friend Sandro. We started off, we met in class, and that's where we wrote our song on Spotify. That's where we created our name. The first song that I like to perform would be my song Cherry. It was the first song that we ever released on Spotify, and it has to do with sexual assault. So I feel like it's very important for that to go out to people and for them to not feel alone. I would like to have improved more by now, but it's very difficult since we're both still in college and trying to figure everything out. But we'll get there, we'll get there.
Hey, I'm Oscar Rodriguez. I'm a guitarist and composer. Here at FIU, I'm a composition major, but outside of FIU, I'm a guitarist. So I play electric guitar for a band called Bloom Dream. It's a band that I founded along with my friends from high school, Francisco, Luis, James, and Vinny. We pretty much play a lot of different styles within our music, anywhere from like shoegaze to metal to a little bit of jazz influence. Pretty much any contemporary style of rock music. And we kind of just mess around a lot with our instruments, playing them in like different ways that are not really traditional, especially with our pedals and things like that. I would say social media is a great tool for finding gigs. You know, you could just hit a booking agency, the venue itself, just whoever, you know, if you know who runs the venue, if you hit them up, you know, like maybe 7 or 8 times out of 10 they might respond, especially if it's a DIY venue, kind of like the Corner Warehouse, where like, you know, it's like you either get hit up or you just let them know, hey, like we're looking for a gig. For example, a lot of my friends that are in other bands, whenever they have like album release shows, they'll try to hit up venues like that. They'll be like, hey, like we're looking for a space to do our album release show. How can we do this? I would definitely say like it's definitely easier to deal with the DIY venues than like actual like established venues. You know, because sometimes they might not even like respond to your email that you send them or anything like that. I'm lucky that with this band, Bloom Dream, we've always had good shows. We've never really felt overlooked or anything like that. I've definitely been in other projects where like it's been like that because we're like a cover band or whatever. It's mostly just like background music or something. But definitely with Bloom Dream, we've always had shows where people are always genuinely interested in listening to us. And I mean, thankfully, like since our first show, we've always had, you know, fans that came out. I would say that when we played at bars and like things like that, it kind of felt that way sometimes. But now we kind of like take on less shows in order to make it show more significant than otherwise, you know, playing like 6, 7 shows a month, which we could do. But it's like, you don't really like get much value out of it because people won't really like go out of their way to see you if you're always playing. Whereas if you play like once or twice a month down here in Miami at least, it's like, you know, people have to go see you because they're like, oh, this is my only chance this month to go see them. I have to go. So it makes their show a little more significant. So some of the venues we've played at, well, our first show ever was kind of funny. It was at the Spot in Wynwood. We had to like chase the guy down to get paid. It was really funny. But yeah, that one was kind of a mess, but it was still like a really full show. Like we had a lot of friends show up for our first gig ever, which honestly meant a lot. Like, you know, to have your first gig, have like be really full, and then like to also get paid for it, even though it was difficult. Like it was a lot of fun to do it. We've also played a lot of house shows. We've played house shows in Plantation, in Miramar, here in Miami, and then in Tampa. And then we've also played locally, like at the Boombox, and also at the Corner Warehouse. Those are like two of my favorite venues down here. And then through backroom sessions, we've also played like at Lincoln's Beard. We've also played at the fair through backroom sessions. We're gonna be back there on the 30th this month. And then we're also gonna play at the Corner on the 25th. And then in April, we're kind of stacked. I don't think we could really sustain ourselves from just live performances. It takes a lot of things to really kind of start getting the ball rolling with making money through music, especially like with making merchandise and selling it. I would say that's where we'd pretty much make the most money right now, just out of our merch. You know, from streams, you don't really get much money. You know, you might get like $1 or $2 every month. All right, well, thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you to the team for putting this together. It was honestly a great pleasure to do this. I've never done this before by myself, so.
When I was a young girl, you lifted me high, higher than I've ever been. You wiped off my tears, but allowed me to cry, made me comfortable in my own skin. I'm Alexa Lash. I'm in a band called Alexa and the Old Fashions. I'm a singer-songwriter from Miami, Florida, and I've been doing this a little over 5 years. So I have a residency at a place called Bar Nancy that's in Little Havana in Miami, but I've also been playing pretty frequently at Hometown Barbecue. And the way that I got started into all of this is that I did a lot of open mics. So any open mic I had a chance to go to, I did that. And a lot of comedians do that in Miami. Like you'll see comedians go from one open mic to the other, to the next, and they'll all do it in one evening. For musicians, it's a little harder because you have to wait on a list for an extended period of time. But that's where you meet people, and then people give you advice, and then at some point you have to develop an EPK, which is an electronic press kit, and when you want to have better paying gigs, you kind of have to have a stock email, have videos online, you know, basically visualizations and evidence that you're decent at what you do.
It's interesting to think about where we are now with how people perceive live music. Because I think before social media was huge, I think people went to bars and had favorite artists that they heard on the radio and would like go kind of in frequency to these places. Now, I even asked this question on Instagram. I said, what makes you want to go to somebody's gig? Because for me, I want to know what's going to get you to come to my performance, how I can improve and what I can do to make myself better. And the biggest answer was that it has to just kind of be convenient. Like, that's the day you're available. But the other thing I was also talking about was you have to make everything an event, right? They just had a Taylor Swift dance party at Gramps, and that sold out because people want to go to an event that's very specific. My EP release party did super well. My birthday party, super packed. But any off night, I barely see anyone that I know. I get lucky, a stranger walks in, or I make new fans. The most packed I had of a room that nobody knew who I was during the pandemic, when I was one of the first musicians back at Bar Nancy. We filled that room on a random Thursday or a random, Sunday night because there was nothing else to do. To get respect in the industry, you have to sometimes say no to gigs. When somebody's offering you exposure and they're a very successful business, the answer is probably no. It's a tough situation because some situations you can understand it, right? It's a company or a friend trying to take off in some way, shape or form, or support the community in some way, and there's just no way any of us are gonna make money. But for the most part, if it's a business that makes a profit off what you're doing, you're providing your own sound, your own equipment, you're bringing all of your stuff and risking it getting damaged at any point in time, you shouldn't be taking it for exposure. So Wonder Woman Wednesdays was pitched to me by Bar Nancy as a way to get female voices on more stages, basically. So it's a night that every Wednesday is hosted by a different Miami musician who's female. And I have every third Wednesday of the month, just because I have residency and tenure there. But I can do whatever I want with the evening, and I've chosen to give it as a platform to bring other female musicians in. And I believe that all the other hosts are doing the same in different ways. Like, some people are having a jam night where they bring their female friends out who perform. Some are, doing it in just whatever unique way that they want to exercise their platform. I'm trying to bring out local female singer-songwriters. I'm going to bring out comedians, and actually at my next one on April 20th, I'm also going to have a caricature artist who's this badass female. So I'm pretty excited about next month's event too.
I know you got your light, I know you got those dreams, but can you wait a minute and just consider me? What were those magic words? What kind of joy was this? Pretend in the kitchen, you go and take my hand. I've got this tunnel vision, I hope you understand. One woman sunrise, then one sunrise, then one sunrise.
So my favorite song of my arsenal, I created over 40 songs during quarantine, so picking my favorite's always really difficult. So it's between two. The first one, of course, is Baked Apples, because I wrote it about my grandmother. Like, if you look around my apartment, there's just little bits and pieces of nostalgia kind of everywhere, like paintings in my room, pieces of furniture, everything. And the song is a dedication to her. I wrote that song in under an hour. Like, I wrote it, it was one of the first songs I wrote on the piano. I've only been playing for about a year on the piano. And it just means the world to me. Like, it's a private song. Like, if you listen to the lyrics and don't understand all of them, it's not meant to be understood. Just the feeling is meant to be shared. That, like, I miss this person, it means this much to me.
Wish you were here, now that I am much older, so much I know you could teach me about life.
And then the other song that I consider one of my favorites is called She's Gonna Be Fine. I wrote it during quarantine, and that song is based on a true story. I met a dude on an open mic night. He came and visited me from California. He left, my heart was broken very quickly. And then I wrote a song about what happened. And it's one of my favorite songs to sing. If you've ever gotten a chance to see me perform it, It's one of the hardest songs for me to sing and one of the most emotional. And I really enjoy it, and the dude and I are friends now, so it's not a big deal. But if I get famous off that song, that would be awesome.
And suspend disbelief.